Good morning, everybody. Wee Paddy from across the shotgun. How's my little potato chips this morning? Um, First of all, my health is improving, blooming slowly, but it's definitely improving. I feel a bit brighter this morning, so I thought I'll just do a wee video. I haven't really planned that much. What I am going to do is show you two knives that I've got from UK makers recently, only in the last couple of weeks. Talk a little bit about them. They're not by any means reviews. I haven't tested or done anything yet, but that will come probably in the new year. But what I wanted to do is give you a look at them. They've both got very active Instagram pages. I'll put them down below in the description. Please go over and have a look at them. So far, I'm really impressed. There's a bit of a heads up. Now, I still have to do my testing. There's a couple of little things that I hope will improve in the future, but we'll talk about that as it comes. The other thing I wanted to talk about, I haven't been watching a huge amount of videos, but I watched Metal Complex's video last week there, and he was talking about blade steels, and this is always a contention for controversy in the knife world. Why do we buy certain knives? Do they have to have these really high-end blade steels that are fantastic and their edge retention is a wonderful thing? But do we need them for everyday carry? Now, for me, the answer is most definitely no. Now, if it asked me that when I first started, my goal was to get these top blade steels. There wasn't maybe as many 5 years ago as there is now, and they seem to be producing them more and more often, the must-have blade steel. Thankfully, I have stopped all that probably in the last year and a half, searching for this high-end blade steel. You'll have to excuse my wee dog. The wife's gone out and he's missing her. So what I want to talk about is I thought Metal Complex really hit it on the head. Now, we're both on different genres. I'm slip joint mostly now, and he is the higher end. Now, not all. He does basic and budget, but he's in the higher end knives. Even with slip joints now, they're coming out with M390 and things like that. Do I need that on my slip joints? No, not all of them. These knives in particular I'm talking about, these are EDC knives. Now, they're custom, but they're an EDC price that I would call a custom. It's an EDC custom because they're young makers to this going out on their own sort of thing. They're not young in the knife business. Nobody just becomes a knife maker overnight. They've gone through an apprenticeship, and both of them have worked and made knives for some of the best known brands in the UK. So they're skilled craftsmen. They're now doing it more for themselves, making a custom product that they can sell. So the knife steels, their knife steels in these are very basic. And I guess one of the reasons they can keep the price down, I would like to see it improve. Yes, a little bit. But it's not a necessity because the steels they're giving me I can use in my everyday use. And I'm not everybody. So sometimes the increase in steels can make a difference. This one that Stephen Cocker made. No, this is Stephen Cocker. Sorry, I should do. This is Stephen Cocker's one. And it's a beautiful the way he stamped his name in there. And his is the ultra shiny blade. I've put a nice edge on this. This is beautifully made knife. This is absolutely gorgeous. No gaps. Just stunning. So far, I'm over the moon with this. I have been using it. You can see there's some scratches or whatever. I have been using this one because I've sharpened it. And I got this one first. So it's been in my rotation. I'm saying in my rotation. I've been sitting in a chair for weeks. So sitting in my chair doing the cutting that I have been doing, so far it seems good. I'm not venturing to cutting big cardboard box at the minute because I keep getting electric shocks all over my body when I do that with this shingles. This one is from a new maker to me again. This is Ian Underwood. I absolutely love this. It's my Carta. I think it's G10 bolsters. Look, I'll be doing full reviews. I love the big pivot. I think that's beautiful. I have a high-end custom knife with something very similar, and it attracted me to it as well. Lovely, different blade shape. They've both done me Barlows. They're different blade shapes, different finishes. This is a satin finish. This is a high polish finish. I think they both do either or. not too sure, but when I do the full reviews of these, which is not going to be the after Christmas, and I'm not in a great rush. If you want to go for an order from them, I would say go ahead. You'll not be disappointed with what they're putting out. I just want to do a full review of the knife as a whole when I've used it properly. And there's a run in. It's going to take a couple of months probably before you're going to get a knife from these. They're made in small batches and individual knives, a lot of them, and they do shows themselves. So this is their living. They're just starting out. So patience is required when you order a knife from them. Be patient. It might take a month, 2 months, or even 3 months, but the worth to get something that's handmade for you is just amazing. That feeling that this is your knife is amazing. This one I bought directly as an order, and it was generously given to me by him, which I wasn't expecting at all. Blew me away, and I thank you very much. It'll not affect my review because I already like the knife. There's nothing wrong with the knife. Structurally, everything about it is absolutely spot on. And the same goes for Ian. Structurally, perfect. Couple of wee nitpicks that I'll pick up in the main review, but that's down the line. If you want to go over and order knives from them, I can honestly say, from what I've got, which is a very small sample, it's one each of them. But they do, and I've looked at the reviews online. I've talked to people who bought their knives, and I think you're on a safe bet. And getting in now and getting an order early is no me. Just get in and do it. They're not over expensive. Their basic model is about £75-ish. But get over there, speak to them. They're both affable young men, and they'll speak to you and tell you exactly what their prices and all are. That's not my job. My job's just to review the knives. This one I bought, and this was a second. He had posted this knife up on Instagram, and people keep saying to me, Paddy, where do you get your knives? You go on Instagram and you follow makers. This he'd put up was a knife that he'd been working on, hadn't perfected it yet, but it was, as good as a working knife. He had a couple of wee things that he had to do on it to get it to saleable value. I said to him, look, can I buy that off you? I knew it was a second. Now, it's only a second by one simple little thing. Can you see that this here is about 1 millimeter down on this side? That's it. Other than that, it is perfectly fine. He sold it to me at a really good price because it was a second. He was honest. He showed me. I hadn't even noticed it in the pictures. So he was honest and upfront. So I was able to buy this as a second. But that is the only thing that I'm going to detract from the second, because everything else is absolutely perfect on it. Absolutely perfect. So I'll put the names of these two boys down below. Please go over to Instagram and follow them. Now, look, recently this year I've been following British knife makers. Here's another one I found on Instagram, and I have 3 of his knives. Now, this is Ashley Harrison. I highly recommend Ashley Harrison because we've got 3 of his knives, and they're all been offered substantial or a value that is well above what he charges. His finishing, his knives, his blade steel, he's 01, which I really do appreciate. Am I ever going to blunt this more than these? Probably not. But it's nice to have it there just in case I did need it, especially on this, which is a heavier work knife compared to these two. But that's my goal, and I'm going to do a segment before Christmas on the British knife makers that I've got knives off this year, because I've really gone to town and spent quite a bit of money on British knife makers, and I don't regret it for a second, because I have some beautiful knives, and these two are just another 2 in that line. So what I was going to say, blade steels, for goodness sake, if you're a slip joint collector, especially the traditional, most of the knives are going to be C70 up to 1095. That's what you're going to get. 1095 is a great steel for a pocket knife. I really love it. I wish that was the base model, because it lasts long enough to be incredibly useful in a pocket knife that's going to get a bit of work. But if you're like me and I don't use them a whole lot, these two, I think this is SF100, which is a stainless steel made in Sheffield. This one is a C70 carbon steel, I believe. But again, I'm going to come back to you with all those. And I have lovely in-depth overviews on the 2 boys. They've given me a little bit of history about them, who they work for. So that's going to be a really interesting video. I just don't want to rush it. I've done that before, and I sort of paid the price for it. But I don't want to do that again. And I don't think I'm going to get any of them problems with these two. But being cautious is sometimes the best way to go. When you're recommending something, I want to be fully sure now. Ashley Harrison, fully recommend him. I've had 3 of his knives. I've seen his work. I've seen other people's of his work, as I have of these two. And that's why they've made enough knives out there that people have that I'm quite confident when I recommend them, I will be recommending a good product. So, yes, steels. I think 10.95. I'd love them to move up to 10.95 or 01 like Ashley Harrison does. I don't believe that will cost them a whole lot more, and I wouldn't mind spending £5 extra on a custom knife to have that on it. Just a little thing I'm going to throw in now, because I have to do something. So that's what you've got coming for the new year. Probably this week, I'm hoping to do an overview of all the British knife makers that I bought knives from, and we'll talk again a little bit about them. But I just wanted to make a video. I've been feeling, it's been that long since I made videos. The last video I put up, I was mortified because it was jittery and stuttery, and I don't want that. I want the excitement to come on my voice, as I am with these two makers. I'm so excited to get another 2 makers in the British knife industry. There's room out there for plenty more. I just, and I'm searching them out, and if they can help me, to get them on the channel, if you know any, let me know of them. I'll contact them, see if I can get a knife for the channel. I don't have a whole lot of extra money, but over the course of next year, I want to find at least another 3 or 4 knife companies or knife custom makers in the UK to add to this and build up a genre of good UK knife makers. Now, I'm still a fanatical GEC. I am up to my maximum 25 GECs, so it's 1 in, 1 out from now on. That's the rule. I'm sticking to it. I've been increasing my case upload, and also I've got a couple of nice customs now. So my knife making is nearly moving on to completely slip joints, but it's not going to be completely. I still have a need for locking knives. So I'm still collecting them. I have one on the way from QB who are kindly sending it to me. Lovely knife. I'm really looking forward to it. I have a couple that I haven't shown yet on the channel. I have a stack of GECs to show on the channel, but that's mostly going to come in the new year. I might do 1 or 2. I've got some really top class ones recently, and I really want to get them on the channel, and they'll skip over some of the more, I'm not going to say mediocric, because there is no mediocrity in GEC. They're all classic knives, in my opinion. So there we go. I'm glad to be back. I hope there's a little bit of a lift in my voice. I'm slowly getting there. I can't do a whole lot because where I got shingles, I got them on my front, working round to the side, and my back, the middle of my back, working round to the side, both on the left-hand side. And they fire each other off with these shock waves. It's like being tasered. It's getting less and less and more able to manage than it had been. And that constant pain is not there anymore. So thank you so much to everybody who has sent me well wishes and just asked where I'd been. Really appreciate it. I'd like to do a big welcome back to RJ Knives. Him and his wife had COVID. They both had a rough time of it. So glad to see him making a video. I think we were off at the same time, so I really wasn't aware. Or if I was so wrapped up in my own illness, I just wasn't thinking outside the box. But I really do. So glad to see him back. RJ's Knives. Go and check his channel out. Newish channel, about 500 subs, but a really, really positive young man. And I really enjoy his channel. I'll put his name down below as well, his YouTube channel, and go and see him and give him a bit of a like me, he's getting back into it again. And to be honest, it only takes a month or 2 and you get right out of practice. But the inflection in my voice, I hope, is back today. It's not put on, which is lovely because I hate putting on. I just feel so blessed to have these 2 knives. They gave me, listen to my poor dog. He's at the front door. I've been so pleased to get these 2 knives, and they gave me a real boost and a lift. They weren't the only 2 knives I got, but because they're British makers, and I know I have viewers from all around the world, But I do buy knives from all around the world. This is just a wee bit of homegrown comfort for me that makes me feel good about British knife making, that it's not dead, it's still here. And these are young men who are going to take over that mantle, hopefully, of the Rogers, the Taylor's Eyewitness, which both of these have actually worked for making knives. So that's the standard they're already at. So take care, everybody. Paddy's gone. Thank you so much for listening. Sorry, it was a bit of waffler, but I would also go to Metal Complex's channel. I'll put his channel name down below too. Go over to his channel and see the one he talked on, why you buy steels. It's just a minefield. Don't get bogged down in it. The most basic carbon, the C70, which is about at the moment, lasts me my day every day. It just really does. And as long as the blade geometry is thin, it will cut even when it's blunt. And that's the joy of slip joints that maybe you don't get as much with your locking knives. But there's a place for every knife, and I still love every knife. Take care. Paddy's gone. Thank you very much for watching.